Well, it's a beautiful Friday out here in the digital world and the digital space on YouTube specifically. I really thank you for joining this channel, this live. This is a live. Let me know as you are coming in. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Um, Arshnu, hi, how are you doing? Good to see you, man. I hadn't seen you in a while. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, this Friday is good. The summer has been shaping up. We're finally getting some good weather, which I'm sort of enjoying. Yes, this is Friday, and I'm really excited, really ecstatic. And I don't take those words, use those words lightly, right? Um, this has been a great week. We were here Tuesday, had a good discussion on Tuesday, and we're back again today to sort of just pick up where we left off, right? For many of you that do not know, my name is Brett with Anvil. I'd like to introduce myself. Thank you for joining the channel. If you are here for the first time, please let me know in the chat by signaling, putting a one in the chat. Let me know if you're first time here today. And we're going to get right into the video. Let's see. I got some comments. Arsu says, yeah, I was busy with some stuff, setting some stuff up. I brought from the UK. Okay, yeah, you'll have to let me know about that, Arsenal. Um, I know you had fun there. That was a good experience for you. You had to got to go uh to London, and yeah, you're back now. So you have to tell me what type of setup you end up purchasing. Looks sounds like you had some products that were waiting for you when you got back home. So that's sort of cool. Well, anyway, that's what the channel is about, guys. Like that's what I'm here for. That's the reason why we sort of come on the live and we talk about tech. We could talk about computers, AI, all types of innovations. And I'm sort of I'm in this space just because I love the space. It's not necessarily all the time. All the things that I do, of course, are great, right? Computer setups, that's sort of good. But like I'm just happy to be on this channel. I thank you guys for your community that you sort of allowed this to happen. We talk and get on the chat, and I'm going to talk about some things today. I'm going to kind of sort of dive into some things on some updates for Apple, what they've got going on, and so let me know in the chat where you're watching from, especially those who are here for the first time. You may be dropping by. I appreciate you guys for liking the channel or liking this video and subscribing to the channel. We've got the WWC coming up, which is the Worldwide Developers Conference in Apple, and it's going to be a fun week that is going to show, and I'm sort of excited as well. And so we're glad to have you guys. Glad to have you guys here. So let me know in the comments where you're watching from. If you're watching for the first time, go ahead and put that one up in the chat. Put the one up in the chat. And yes, specifically about the developers conference, right? We got a few updates I want to share with you guys. So Not Reacher says, I bought an XLR interface. Okay, awesome. Which XLR interface was that? Because I'm curious to know what you actually got. So guys, those who are watching for the first time, we're just I'm sort of free spirited when it comes to this live thing. Like I don't necessarily have a plan. Like I mean, it's not always about the hook. It's not always about having a script together, having your script and everything together. Like we're just here to hang out. Like I have to address the questions because you guys are my followers. You subscribe, so it's on me to sort of address and you guys leave the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. So the XLR interface. Let me know, Arshnu, what XLR interface that is. You also got a new mic stand from a company called Kiro, I guess. Awesome mic stand. So hopefully that mic stand holds up for you. I hope it holds up. They said it was the most popular, so I bought it. Yeah, hopefully you looked at the reviews, man. Like it's important to look at those reviews. But Yeah, I want to sort of preview the WWC Developers Conference. So for those of you that don't know about the conference, this is an Apple conference. And first of all, if you go to my channel, I talk mainly Apple products. Um, some Windows, but mainly Apple products. I talk. I of course am in my studio. Yay! I'm in the studio today. I'm normally in the studio. I started out the lives actually in the car, but I transitioned sort of into the studio to. This is my comfortable space, right? This is where I love to be. I love to reside. Love to sit here and be comfortable and just sit and talk to you guys. So, and the reason why I'm saying that is, I started this channel as mainly like an Apple channel. There was so much I learned. Oh my goodness, in the what my creativity in the studio. You have to have something to sort of you know put that creativity and allow that creativity to grow. So that's why we're here, and that's the reason why I sort of built the studio. I built this channel. It's absolutely for that. So, um, yeah, it's been great. Not Reacher says, I brought a Focusrite Scarlett. Okay, yeah. The Focusrite Scarlett is solid, man. It's absolutely a solid interface. That's the red interface, right? That's the red interface. I like it. I like it. I have the SSL. I have the SSL interface, which is probably a little bit of a step up. I'm gonna show you the SSL interface. Um, and I weird enough story. I thought I was at a I had to perform at a show, and I had this original one. Let's see, this is the SSL two. This is the interface, and it has your MIDI inputs, and also your outputs for your speakers. But this is the interface I use on the go. But I had the original one, and I thought I lost it. Like I thought I lost it. I was like, oh my goodness, I gotta buy another one because I've got a show tonight. I gotta be in place tonight, and thought I lost the interface, and it's for some odd reason I don't know. One of my good friends called me last night and was like, it showed up, like I found it. So and I ended up buying another one. So I have actually two. I actually have two of those interfaces. So, but I mean, this is the day in the life of a creator, someone who a creative. I mainly do music production. Like I said, I love Apple products because it's sort of been the bridge between my creativity and products that I've sort of come up with through the years. So, um, yeah. So, the WWDC is the Worldwide Developers Conference coming next week. I believe it's going to be June the starting the 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific. So definitely tune in. I don't know yet if I want to stream on that and sort of we can be hanging out and watching. I have now the capabilities to do that, which is sort of cool, right? But in this conference, and they're gonna be talking about a number of different things. Of course, Apple upset software updates that I'm looking forward to, right? I'm looking forward to these updates. One specific is iOS is going to they're going to look to change its naming system. iOS currently is it's iOS 19. They're going to switch over to to OS and Mac OS 26, Watch OS 26. So the jump, the leak, it's sort of a renaming, a rebranding of Apple, and so it's going to be challenging. Uh, it's going to be challenging for Apple going ahead, but I've always, I've always, I've always cheered for Apple because it is the number one brand, right? Um, Here's another thing: the iPhone users may get a dedicated gaming app, which is like amazing, right? Apple is developing currently a gaming app that will replace Game Center. So all of you gamers out there, I got a few gamers. Um, and the gaming features like leaderboards, recommendations, ways to challenge your friends. So this may be an introduction into Apple's gaming. Apple doesn't have a huge, vast gaming system, so but they're going to integrate this gaming system with iMessage or FaceTime. So imagine that you're on iMessage and you're on FaceTime, and you can sort of play and talk and chat on video and audio with your friends. Like, sort of cool. Like, it's a digital arcade. There are going to be updates to the Mac, the watch, and the TV. So Mac OS may see a new gaming app, or um, to benefit from new AirPod features. It's also expected to be named the Mac OS Tahoe. So uh, yeah, they're changing a lot of things. I think it's a rebranding. It's time for rebranding, and so I just wanted to kind of update you on what the Worldwide Developers Conference is coming up, because you're going to hear about it. There are going to be commercials about it. There are going to be people talking about it online. Probably going to have other YouTube content creators and on other channels talking about this as well, right? So those are a few things. They're not necessarily any hardware announcements, even though there may be like a MacBook Pro that we may see. So sort of excited about that. And so yeah, wanted to invite you guys. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Give me a like of this video. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. And so I really want to talk about Apple specifically, right? As we sort of as we're ready for this Worldwide Developers Conference, and I've had Apple products for years, right? My first Apple computer was a MacBook Pro. It was a starch gray, shiny gray, really thick MacBook Pro that I still have to this day. The battery actually exploded on me at one point in time. This was probably in 2008, right? It was a 2008 computer. Um, that computer cost me $2,600, and I didn't get much use out of it back then. I was using Reason software. Reason software is a production based software that you can hook your keyboard up to, and you're able to sort of make tracks, make beats, or whatever you want to call it. It didn't have vocal capabilities. I think that was the one thing that Reason sort of transitioned into that. But yeah, these were humble times for me. Like back 20 when I say 18 years ago, right? These were humble times for me because I just started in the music production space. Apple was just getting started. I believe YouTube was getting started. Gosh, I wish I would have started on YouTube way before I did. I've only been a YouTube content creator for the past 3.5 years. But hey, it's better late than never, right? Here we are in the space. I really just started lives this year. So, like I said, I appreciate you guys for joining. Those of you who are here for the first time, let me know in the chat where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching on the globe. Give me a hello. Say hello as you're coming in. But so I sort of have had this extensive and intensive journey with Apple products, starting with the MacBook Pro. I later transitioned and get into getting a iMac computer, and this is sort of my story. Like, this is who I am. This is where I have started, right? And so we get further on down the line, and I start I start getting into more studio items. I started purchasing things, and of course I didn't have like a lot of money. On the things that I've gotten have been through the years, right? It's something to say about when you don't have the necessary budget items or the monetary items to purchase what you need. It sort of slows you down to make you really and force you really to think about what you are going to purchase in the budget items that you have. So budgeting is number one on my book, and I still use that to this day. Even though, I mean, I may have a little bit more money, like not a lot more money, but I found out through the years, the more money that I've accumulated, the less I want to either download in terms of software or go to the store and buy the hardware, or if I'm on Apple's website. I can't even tell you the last time I purchased something off of Apple's website, which is crazy to have an Apple channel and not purchase anything off the website. But going to apple.com, it is what it is. You get charged what you get charged. So over these years, I've learned so much, guys. Like I've learned how to use the products. I've learned the Apple ecosystem. I've branched out, and I purchased iPads. I purchased MacBooks. More MacBooks. I purchased more iMacs. I'm currently in the studio now. I have like two or three iMacs here that I'm sort of happy to say, like, it's a good thing to sort of look back and see what you've accumulated in terms of products. And for me, the equipment that I've accumulated over the years, I'm kind of happy to say it's been a good ride. So, but specifically today, I want to really get and dive into Apple's ecosystem, and some things that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about some things that Apple is sort of on the surface you don't really know, or most people would not um, know this, even if you're a Mac user. Like these are not surface things. Apple really likes to push their marketing on people. They really like to sell you the lights, the glitter, the glam. They sort of if they can get, and it's not, they don't even need celebrities, right? They don't need celebrities. They don't need content creators, right? I'm not sure if I'll ever, no, I won't say never, but it's highly unlikely for me to necessarily get a brand deal from Apple. But yeah, we'll push towards that, right? Right, because I talk about them. But them being the company that they already are the company that everybody wants to be. All their companies want to be. The consumers want to consume, and it's a bandwagon. It's a bandwagon train, right? And a fast moving one. So Apple is at the top, right? They are the giant, the bully in the room, right? But with that being said, there are a few things that lie under the surface that Apple doesn't necessarily want Mac users to know. And these are some things that I've learned through the years. Down the years, I've learned about these things, and certain things that aren't so pleasant. Like, well, and with every company, right? You're not necessarily going to get good. You're going to get the bad, sometimes the ugly. Hopefully, the good you're able to deal with the not so good, like the pros and cons of purchasing through a company. So, but there are a lot of things that you may not know exist in the Apple ecosystem that Apple doesn't want you to know. Number one, they have locked down hardware, which we'll talk about. Um, sneaky hidden cost. Apple has a lot of hidden costs that we do not know about it. One of the main hidden costs that Apple's had, and I've been shouting from the mountaintop about this, is the iCloud and their storage prices. They're just out of this world, right? But you know stick around, like, because if you own a Mac or you plan to buy one, you need to hear this, right? um, Apple Macs are sleek machines, right? They're very sleek. They're very good for production, for graphics, for any sort of type of creation, right? They sort of left Windows and the PC in the dust, right? So, anyway, let's see. We've got a phone 900p says hi, hi. How are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining the chat. Thank you for leaving a comment. I really appreciate it. Let me know where you're watching from. All of the others, let me know where you guys are watching from. So about these hidden secrets that Apple has sort of tried to keep from us, and most of us, the general public, doesn't know, because we go to the store, we go to the Apple store, and we see the iPhone, right? It's the iPhone. Like, I don't want another phone. I want the iPhone. I want the iPhone 17, and in 5 or 6 months, it's going to be the iPhone 20, and so forth and so on. We don't like staying with the phone that we have. I currently have an iPhone 15, right? Serves me perfectly. Before that, I had an iPhone 10. So that lets you know I'm not really interested in the iPhone or buying the latest and greatest iPhone. That's not really what this channel is about. even though I will answer the questions if you have questions about you want to compare the 16 to the 15, the 15 to the 17. Should I purchase the 17? Should I, go with the 14? Right? Do I want to refurbish phone? What sort of upgrades are coming with it? Well, news flash: the iPhone is Apple's number one. It's number one driver of sales and revenue. Apple would not survive without the iPhone, because it revolutionized the way we think about how we communicate with the world outside of us. Right? Um, Communication is very key, but we're so connected today. We're so connected in this space. We're so connected with the internet. We talked the other day about YouTube, even YouTube being the number one, literally, streaming service online for your TV in your living room, in your family room where you watch TV. uh, they're becoming more and more popular. It's becoming more and more popular to watch YouTube on TV. So these things are sort of things that we have to look out for in technology, and what we're sort of, the space that we're in. So yeah, Apple's they're more than just sleek machines, right? Some of the biggest features are actually traps, right? From repairs to the hidden costs. There we go again. The hidden costs and repairs. I refuse to get my Apple computer repaired through the Apple system. I just, it's like purchasing another computer. Quick story for you. Quick story for you. I had a MacBook Pro that I was using. It was like probably my second MacBook Pro. I love this thing. Bought it used. It was everything I needed. I sort of had it and was using it. Number one, it was the only computer I had, which was probably good, which was probably not a good thing, because only having one computer, what I'm about to tell you that happened, this is the reason why you don't have just one computer. So, the quick story is I had the MacBook computer, and I had it maybe for about, I don't know, probably about a month or two. And one day I came back and there was water damage. Water damage. Water had just, I mean, it was like the computer took a bath, right? Uh, all sorts of emotions just rose up in me. I was defeated. I was just like, oh, please dry up. Hopefully the motherboard will dry up and I'll be able to salvage this computer. And guys, newsflash: water and electronics do not mix. Absolutely not. And the reason why I can tell you that is because I know we all should know. The other reason is, no, that's why they have products out there that are waterproof. But my MacBook was damaged by water, and I was like, this is probably the worst thing that can happen to me. Obviously it wasn't, because I gotten over it. It's been 18 years, right, since that's happened. um so I didn't know what to do, right? I mean, first of all, the computer was used, so I couldn't take it back. It wasn't the fault of the seller that, that I had damaged my MacBook. So what did I end up doing, though? So I had to, at the time I was heavily into eBay, selling and buying, purchasing. Coincidentally, I purchased the computer from eBay. So, purchasing this computer from eBay, I sort of got the wild idea of, well, I know there are repair services out there, but I just started researching, right? And I came across this small business in New York, that they sold computers, they sold refurbished motherboards. Not only that, they sold the service of repairing. I see the comments. Money says hello. Hello, Money. Money. Thank you for joining. Appreciate the comment. Um, so this service that this computer that I looked up on eBay, they sold a service of Mac repairs for for damaged motherboards, and I was like, oh man. Now, granted, like, this service was like $250. I had to mail my MacBook that I had just purchased. I had to mail it to New York. Could you imagine me, like, you know, you getting a computer for the first time and, like, Now you got to mail it off for it to get repaired, not send it across the street because there weren't any computer repair shops anywhere um, within driving distance that I knew of. They probably were. I just didn't know of any. I was desperate, right? I didn't necessarily have the money. $250 is a lot of money back. I say back then, but it was a lot of money for me. Then, so I what I did was I got myself together and I shipped my damaged Mac off to this store, this repair shop, in hopes that they would repair my computer because I didn't have any other choice, right? What was I going to do? I mean, it was the best thing. And it probably, the $250, I had to be okay that they would not be able to fix it. But in the advertisement they said, "Hey, we fix damaged motherboards for Macs," and I said, "Well, okay. Well, if you fix them, or cool." Needless to say, they replaced it, and that was back in a time where you could actually go under the hood of the Mac and repair. Like you could unscrew it. I mean, I've upgraded my RAM on my Mac before. I've upgraded storage, all of that good stuff. You can't do that now because the Macs that they use now are Apple chips. They're Apple Intel. I mean, not Intel. They're Apple M1 chips, M2 chips, the M1, the generation chip. So anyway, um, I shipped the basically shipped my Mac off, and I just waited. I waited. And they, lo and behold, they were communicating with me. This repair shop was communicating with me, and and through the communication, they let me know your motherboard is fixed. We're gonna ship it back to you. And I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You mean to tell me I paid $250 for this service to get my motherboard replaced? Something normally that if you ship to Apple, they're gonna charge you at least $1,000 for, probably $1,500 for, just because they can. Like they make so much money in the repair. Yeah, I mean, it's like a car shop. The number one and two things that they make money off of is you go to a car shop, you purchase the car, you get financing. That's the number one. That's the number one thing to me. Second thing is when your car needs repairs, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna come back to the shop and you're going to get that car repaired. The same thing with Apple. They make a lot of money in repairs, and good for them, right? I'm just not gonna give them my money, right? So let's see. Van B says, "What GPU do I have?" In terms of my computer, I'm not sure on Apple what GPU I have. I need to look that up. I mean, I've got like 3 or 4 Macs, so it depends on what computer I'm on. The GPU size. I honestly don't even look at GPU anymore. Mac makes their own chips, but I still have Intel Mac, so that I use. I got like 1 or 2 silicone Macs. So so with this repair, so I they said they repaired it, then they shipped it back to me. I got I got my repaired Mac back in the mail, and guess what? Lo and behold, it worked. It was like it was like a miracle, man. I don't know what they did. They could have put a chip in my thing, and it was just a whole lot of trust involved in this process of me getting my Mac repaired and getting it mailed back to me. And I was so happy. That was the best $250 I spent ever in my life, literally, because I was back. I was back. I could open my computer. I could get back on it. It worked. It was like a brand new computer to me, and I was sort of happy. There was one thing that I was sort of disappointed about. They did break one of the RAM chip slots in the back of my computer. I was like, well, why did you do that, man? Like, this is something I need. So, um, clearly, they could have been a little bit more. They could have they could have treated my Mac a little bit better than they did. But they broke that slot, the RAM slot. So I said, well, what the heck of it? I mean, I'm gonna take my losses anyway, regardless. So I'm gonna take this loss. And back then, you could you could insert RAM into your your Mac, your 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 laptop or your MacBook. You can insert RAM. Of course, RAM allows for you to be able to run those really intense programs, run it smoothly. I think at the time I had like 16 gigs or something. I may have upgraded to, no, I didn't upgrade to 32, but it was like 16 or 24 gigs. So that's still good, still good. But what am I saying about this story? What I'm saying is I avoided Apple Repair at all costs because it's going to cost you all costs to repair your computer if you send it through Mac Repair. Like it's no it's you just should just get a new computer, right? But these aren't things that people sort of talk about it. They don't really talk about how Apple makes so much money off of repairs, how they make their number one revenue generator is the iPhone, and it is the RAM upgrade or the storage upgrade of your iPhone, because most people are like, oh, should I get 128 gigs? Should I get 256 gigs? There's this always battle of like, oh, I really want more, because we want more. We don't necessarily need more. Like, I can want more of storage, but do I necessarily need that storage for my iPhone? I mean, it's going to cost me an extra 250 bucks. And some people, they don't even think twice about it. They just purchase the higher storage space. Well, Apple's making money off of that. I mean, it's crazy. But they got a few secrets that you definitely are not going to hear at the Genius Bar. We all know the Genius Bar effectively is, you know, this is the Apple Hangout spot. You go in the Apple store and they have a Genius Bar where I guess the geniuses get together. I don't know. But these are some things that you may not know, and Apple doesn't necessarily want you to know, right? Let's go with thing number one. Thing number one. Let's go with number one. The first thing I believe that Apple doesn't really want you to know. Let's see in the comments where we saying Movie Explain is asking me where I'm from. I live in the eastern part of the United States. I'm here in the eastern part of the United States. Let me know where you're watching from. Thank you for joining the chat. I appreciate the question. Thank you for the comment. I hope that you guys would subscribe to this channel today. We're here every Tuesday and Friday. So my name is Brett. I want to introduce myself. I try to do that in the video every so often because I get people coming in, coming out. I don't necessarily name my videos. I do that specifically because who knows? Don't necessarily judge me if you're watching. Get to know me as I will get to know you as well. Um, Come and be a part of the chat. Come and be a part of the community. Uh, I am an actual person. We're all in this AI space, and all of these social media platforms are going to eventually be taken over by AI. And I'm just not going to be the channel that I'm going to be the channel that sticks to being more personal, coming to you directly, talking to you, not being focused on a certain subject all the time. Even though I've talked about studio gear, I've talked about studio tips, how to set up your studio, production, music. I've talked about Apple products. I've given. If you go to my channel right now, you can. I mean, I've got over 500 or 600 videos that you can watch on your own time and leisure. But of course, you're here in the live, and so we're live, and this is not AI, right? I do find it interesting that the world of AI is going to turn the world upside down. It's going to be something that we've never seen before. I was listening to a podcast. The guy was talking about AI, and we're heading into a world where, and then this sounds crazy, where people will possibly start having actual relationships with AI if they aren't already now. Now, I have a relationship with my AI, this Chat GPT, but that relationship is I give it information, I ask it questions, right? It prompts. It's a prompter, so it gives me back more information. So it's like almost like an administrative assistant, if you will, if you were running a small business. It has the brain power of you know 30 college professors all in one. So why not use it? All the other relationships that people may end up establishing, okay, that's on them. I don't know. Somebody they were talking about people marrying AI, which is not it's not it's not too far off the not too far off the scale because that's just where we're headed. Like society is it's different now. Everything is different now. I'm sort of embracing the difference. I'm embracing the change, but let's get back into what I wanted to talk about. So the first thing we want to talk about, Apple does not want you to necessarily know is um, you're sort of locked in when you purchase. Once you purchase an Apple computer, you're locked in. You're locked in for life. Um, there's no more upgradability. Now, what I mean by that is way back in the day, and this wasn't too far back in the day, like this is probably 3 to 4 years ago. No, maybe about 5 to 6. I have to upgrade my research. 5 to 6 years ago, Apple had Intel Macs. You could upgrade your Intel Mac. You can't do that now. Most of the Macs, if not all of them, their modern Macs now are sealed tight. No RAM upgrades, no upgrades from to SSD. There's no escape, right? um, Apple's quietly killed the upgradability in most modern Macs with SSD, your storage, your RAM, even your batteries are soldered to the motherboard. So once you buy it, you're locked in for the life of the machine. So what does that say? As a consumer, you got to be smart about what you purchase. You want to purchase into a computer that you can grow into. Um, you can forget about swapping out for a larger storage space for external drive that's larger SSD, or boosting your RAM. Right? If you want to boost your RAM down the line, you can't do it because the Macs that are released now are not Macs that you can do that with. If you didn't max out your RAM or your storage day one, then your only upgrade later is buying a whole new Mac. And Apple knows it, right? They're like, I'm going to sell you this. And then if you feel like you need more RAM and more space, if you feel like the programs that you're using, the computer is too slow and it doesn't have the capabilities to keep up with the software, you're sort of dead in the water. You're stuck. And Apple knows it. And so they have capitalized off of locking in on upgradability. You're not gonna be able to upgrade. Does that make sense? Let me know if you guys have any questions. Like, okay, Ice says hi. Hey, Ice. Ice has a Mac Mini M4. Ice, I love that. So I love the Mac Mini M4. You got to tell me more about it. How's it been treating you? Um, I was literally on the verge of purchasing the Mac Studio until that M4 came out, and I'm telling you, you talk about price slashing. Like the difference in price with the Mac Studio and the M4 is like probably like $1,500, and so that Mac Mini M4 is like that's another secret. That's another video. But like I've done reviews on it. I don't have the computer, but I absolutely that is the computer that I would buy. Um, Ice says it's very fast. Yeah, and that's what I've heard. I've heard it's a fast computer. I heard the M4 M4 chip is like killing out here. Now the Mac Mini, of course, you got to buy your screen. You know, don't buy a Mac monitor because you're gonna pay $1,000 for it. You got to buy your screen. You got to get a keyboard. You hear what I'm saying? You got to get a mouse, which is gonna cost you a little bit extra. But I priced it out, and the one I wanted, I think the M4. You can let me know what your specs are. Ice, give me your specs in the comments. But the price of what I ended up pricing out my Mac Mini, I think it was like right around $2,700 if I remember correctly. I was looking at one that had 32 gigs of RAM, like a terabyte. And I think I was gonna pick up like Logic or something. So it ended up being like $2,500 that I was priced into. So I says I don't run Minecraft shaders at max. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Apple has progressed very much. I mean, they progressed in terms of the technology of how computers are. But to be honest with you, Mac computers, iMacs, they're not really Apple's bread and butter anymore. Apple's bread and butter is the phone, the watch, all accessories, and we're gonna get into that later. Accessories, they Apple kills us on accessories. Like you absolutely get killed on accessories and the prices for them. So we talked about not being able to upgrade your Mac. The second thing we're going to talk about is um, this is the genius bar trap. You know, this is why does Apple not want you to fix your Mac, right? Years ago you could go inside your computer. Now with Windows computers, you can do that, right? You can go in and repair, you can fix, you can upgrade Windows computer, you can build a Windows computer, but with Mac you can't do that. Mac has a repair maze, and it's designed to frustrate the heck out of you. It's designed to frustrate you and funnel you into an overpriced ecosystem. So if your computer, is faulty, or if you need to have it fixed, if it's an Apple computer, good luck. And so the good reason Apple is such a great company, right? You rarely have issues with repairs, but if you got to repair, ever tried repairing a MacBook on your own? All of Apple's parts are locked down. Like they're locked down. You can't. They're soldered to the motherboard, the screen soldered to the back of the computer. They have lockdown parts. The pairing requirements, Apple's basically all of their parts are Apple parts. They used to be like Apple would use PC parts, but now they're all parts. They have a clunky self-service repair kits, and I don't even want to go into that. Right? They've made do-it-yourself fixes a headache because you can't get into the software. Like you just can't. So this is a trap. This is trap number two, right? Um, and I've personally been through this with trying to get my Mac repaired. As I talked to you about it earlier, I got the MacBook repaired. It wasn't through Apple though. So Ice says he's got an M4 Max, 32 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs. Yeah, uh, Mac. Yeah, so that probably cost you about 200. No, two. That Mac probably cost you about 2,000, $2,200. I bet you. That's if you're using US dollars, USD. Yeah, guys, don't forget to like this channel as you're watching. Like this video, and subscribe to the channel. So, I absolutely, yeah, I love the M4 Pro. It's amazing, amazing computer. So what is the plan for Apple with this? They're not letting us fix our computers. They're not letting us being able to go down in the computer and sort of work and upgrade our computer. Well, the end goal is really to push you into buying a new Mac altogether. That's really their end goal because it's all about money, right? You got to follow the money. Gotta follow the money. So let's see. Number three, number three hidden price is how Macs drain your wallet after purchase. And this is something that people don't understand. Um, you purchase the computer, you purchase a product, you purchase whatever, and Apple seeks to drain your wallet after purchase. And I have had a go around with this particular subject right here. There are cables that we must use and we have to use. And slowly, if you notice on your iPhone, when you receive an iPhone, you don't even get a power you don't even get a charging cable anymore. Like you have to go out and buy your own accessories. Not to mention, and sort of everything has sort of come globally. We've gone to the USB-C, which has been a great thing. Apple fought that. They didn't want to transition to the USB-C. Um, but like they had to, they were forced to, which I'm glad. But there are plenty of accessories that you have to look at purchasing when you're purchasing if you've got an Apple product that you use. And there's a hidden price tag with these accessories, from the dongles that you use or that you need to cloud fees. Apple is they have a minimalist design, right, that hides maximum cost. This minimalist design comes with a maximum cost, right? So, sure, your Mac is amazing, with its minimal ports and slim profile, but it comes with a hidden price, right? What if you need an SD card or a HMI port to hook up to your Mac? And many of us do. If you do video, like you absolutely need SD and uh, HDMI. If you have a switcher system, like how are you going to get from your computer to the switcher system? How are you going to connect? How are they going to be able to talk to each other? Well, that's going to be an extra cable for you, and that's going to be an extra hub, which turns into extra money, right? If you're low on storage, this is the big one. If you're low on storage with your iPhone, low on storage with your iMac, whatever you use, and most people buy low storage, which is another story. Like I don't recommend that. Like you should get the storage, pay the money up front to get the storage. But if you're low on storage, guess what? Apple conveniently will sell you iCloud. Not just sell it to you, they're going to force it to you. They're going to force iCloud on you. Those hidden costs, they pile up tremendously. And I'm telling you, they pile up so much. You have overpriced adapters, you have subscriptions that you have to be a part of, and accessories that you have to absolutely have to connect your computer to whatever outsource source that you need to. Um, you have to buy these things to make the Mac functional. At the end of the day, you have to buy these things to make the Mac functional. So that's number three. The hidden price tag is how they drain how Apple drains your wallet after you purchase. You just keep on buying. It's more money, more money. So more money, more problems, right? Got it. Number four. Number four is Apple has quietly over the years, and I'm fighting this now. Apple quietly kills their older Macs. If you have an older Mac that's maybe 5 or 6 years old, you're going to have a problem trying to update your security, trying to update your system because Mac will phase out that older computer. Now you have to go to Apple's website to figure out, what sort of computer that you have. You attack or you whatever the year that was made, you have to go look it up and see if the updates and upgrades apply to your older Mac. Generally, Macs that are 2 or 3 years older, you're still in Apple's upgrade ecosystem. So, but as the years progress, I have 3 Intel Macs, and not one of them can I. Well, I shouldn't say not one of them. There is one that I have chose to update, but the other two, they're done. I can't upgrade them because they're outdated, according to Apple, right? And I'm out of luck, right? Because of these computers being old, the Mac OS updates they disappear and they leave your Mac outdated. So Apple, they don't just slow down iPhones. And I have to be careful when I say that, but it's been proven that Apple has intentionally slowed down certain iPhones, and it's happening to Macs too. Like after a few years, older Macs stop receiving your OS updates because Apple is not physically slowing down your phone or your computer. What they're doing is they're not allowing you to opt into the new updates, and it's leaving users with critical security patches and software features that you cannot access. Right? No more updates, no support because your Mac is older. So that's what is that going to do? That's gonna play with the back of your money and with the back of your mind and tell you, oh man, maybe I need to upgrade and go purchase another computer, whether you need to or not. Now there are creative ways, and contact me if you want to know those ways. But there are creative ways to sort of circumvent. And I'm using I have two Macs now that are one's a 2013 and the other's a 2015. Super old by most people's standards, but they still work. I mean, they still work. They still work. I do minimum internet searching online, but these computers absolutely work. So, what are we talking about today? My name is Brett with Anvil Music and Media. Thank you for joining. We're talking about Apple has some secrets, some dark secrets that they don't want the average consumer to know. And I'm going through the whole list of what I know of all of the secrets that could possibly bite you in the long run. Like if you do not if you're not aware of these secrets. So that's why I'm giving this information to you today so you can have it. This is probably over 10 to 20 years of experience with Apple products. Take my word for it. I've gone through it, so you don't have to, right? let's get into the fifth and final secret that I believe this is the way of the world. This is the future of digital products. This is where we are even today, not just the future. This is absolutely today. And we all have it. At some point, we have purchased a subscription. Whether it's not, it's a subscription to Netflix, Hulu, Disney, um, all of this content we use and the subscriptions we have to pay, $5.99, $12.99. Now there's small subscriptions, right? There's small prices, but I've heard people who actually pay upwards of $150 to $200 per month for a subscription. Like why? Why? Like why is it so much money? But the future of Apple is to turn its Macs into subscription. We already got that with Apple TV, right? Apple TV is a subscription. If you're purchasing new products, you're going to have to opt in to a lot of subscriptions. Apple's gonna start forcing us to pay per month, and this is the new playbook. You got to know this is a new playbook. Apple has shifted from just selling Macs to turning their services into subscription machines, right? Think of your Mac as a subscription machine because you can't go further unless you have the software you need. You can't perform or create unless you have the upgrades, and the upgrades require subscriptions, right? Once you're in the Apple ecosystem, it sort of eats you alive, right? You're encouraged to keep paying. Let's name a few things that you're going to pay for. iCloud Plus, Apple Music, Apple One, Final Cut Pro. These are all things that you got to pay subscriptions for. I do not like it. I can't stand it. That's why I'm still on I'm hanging for dear life, guys. I'm hanging on for dear life with my older Macs. I don't want to I don't want to switch and start paying for subscriptions. But the more you rely on your Mac, the more likely you are to hand Apple a piece of your paycheck every single month. It's a tax. We call it the Apple tax. It's effectively called the Apple tax. So these are five things that I feel like in my time with Apple that I learned, and I think you should know, right? Right. If you're watching the video on this part live, I would encourage you to go back and watch this video again so you can get some information about um, just just being effective, just being a consumer who is educated about the software or the market that they're in. You got to be educated about what you're purchasing. Education is everything. I've fallen flat on my face so many times about being educated about this space and the lack of education, and it's hurt me in so many ways. It's hurt me in so many ways. So I'm really excited to share this. I'm glad that you guys were able to join me today. I do really appreciate um, the support. I thank you all for being here. I think I'm grateful to all my supporters, all my subscribers. Uh, this is a great channel. This channel is for you. This is a community of people. We have developers. Um, we have those who um, are into production, graphic arts. I mean, I do all of that stuff, but this is my space to sort of sound off on the things, especially the things we talked about today. It's my space to sound off. So let me know in the chat where you're watching from. I appreciate the comments today. You guys, you guys were a little quiet today, but hey, man, it's still been great. I'm on live. I come on live every Tuesday and Friday. So if you've enjoyed the comment or the content, I like to ask that you would subscribe to the channel. If you've enjoyed this content, if you are watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, this has been a great run. I started a podcast called Off the Dock podcast, and you can catch that on YouTube Music. Most of my lives are up there. as we chat and talk about the latest in tech and news. Um, the WWC is coming up next week, so we're excited about that. Not sure what's going to happen. Not sure what they're going to introduce, but you got to be there for it. You got to be there to sort of see what is going to happen. Because you just never know these days, right? These companies, they are in getting in line for to get your next dollar so that you can spend. Yeah, just stay tuned for that developers conference. We got a lot of good things that are coming out. A lot of new things. Looks like Apple is looking to allow for your AirPods to control your camera, sleep detection, new gestures with your with the AirPods. So this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be very interesting. New head gestures, like it's a lot of new things. So I think yesterday, 9 to 5 Mac reported that they're a handful full of iOS 26 features that Apple's been working on, and they may announce it in the WWDC in the native app. So these are all unreported features. Obviously, rumors. That's what they are. So, um, but it's been good. I hope everybody has a great weekend this week. We're gonna be back next week. Look forward to seeing you guys. Look forward to you guys jumping in the chat and let me know what you have going on in the comments. We're here every Tuesday, every Friday. So please, absolutely give me subscribe to this channel, like the video, and come and check me out. Let me know um, what you got going on. And yeah, we will talk very soon. Alrighty, talk to you guys soon.